serves my right.
Alrighty, today I'm going to show you how to flush your power steering fluid. Power steering will allow you to turn the steering wheel with one hand. So if this is hard to do, or it's noisy, or it's black and gritty and not amber or a nice pink colour, it's time to change your power steering fluid. So first, check your owner's manual and find out what power steering fluid you require. In this model, we need automatic transmission fluid Dexron 3 or Dexron 2. Now we can go and jack up the front of our car so that both front wheels are off the ground. So jack it up, use our jack stands, and make sure the wheels can spin freely. Now that the front wheels are safely off the ground, we can now find our power steering reservoir. It will have the power steering symbol, or it will say power steering on the cap. So to start our flush, first we're going to empty out the reservoir. So we're going to stick in the hose and siphon it all out, just so for when we go underneath the car, it's not going to be as messy. So the power steering will have two main lines. One will come out of the side, which will go to the power steering pump, which is a high pressure line, and on the bottom is the low pressure line. And that's the one that we're going to have to break into to finish flushing out the system. Now we've got to get underneath the car to get to the return line. Now once you get under the car, there's going to be a whole heap of hoses, and if you're not sure which is the return line, go back to the reservoir where the hose is and trace it underneath the car. It'll be a low pressure line, so you'll be able to remove the hose clamp with a pair of pliers. And this is the best method to do a complete full flush of the power steering fluid. Make sure you've got your drip tray directly underneath. Now there's going to be at least 1 litre capacity inside the power steering pump. And to make sure that we get all of the old power steering fluid out of the system, we want to turn the steering wheel full lock from left to right. Keep turning that steering wheel from left to right to make sure we completely drain the power steering system. And after about 30 seconds, it should run dry. So now we can return our feed line back onto the connection and return our hose clamp. But we're not going to return the stone guard because after we fill the system back up, we want to get back underneath to make sure we've got no leaks. Now we can top up our reservoir with our power steering fluid and we can pump it through by turning the car on really quick and turning it off again, just so that it pumps through the fluid. You may need to do this a couple of times, but just make sure that we don't overfill the reservoir. And get underneath to make sure there's no leaks. The only place it's going to leak is that hose that we took off. So make sure the hose clamp is on nice and tight. So if there's no leaks coming from underneath, we can now return the stone guard. Then we can lift the jack up, remove our jack stands, and lower the car back onto the ground. Then we can take it for a test drive and check out the steering. And on our test drive, we want to make sure that the steering moves freely from left to right and no noises. Make sure you take your power steering fluid to top it up if required. And that's how easy it is to do a complete power steering flush. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I upload videos weekly, and make sure to check out Facebook.